Wow. Have you checked out some of these videos that people put out? And all the things that were poured into your head as you were a young boy or a young girl and growing up in your family, and your parents are working hard, and you're trying to grasp what they're trying to tell you in the circus, the steeple building. And they just spend a few minutes on a sermon, and they expect that you got the message. And the only thing you really come away with is the programming to put some money in a basket as they pass it around, and then, hey, you did your deed. A few of us, and I mean a few, will study the actual book that they promote. Of course, the preface of most translations will show you that they tricked you. Just read the preface, and it shows you that they removed an important word from the text. They took the name of the creator out of there. This one restores it. And we are trying to awaken pastors, too, to stop lying. This is another book that you can pick up called Fossilized Customs. And it's about an inch thick, and it will shake your world. It really will. It's in the 12th edition. A real quick read, something you can read in a couple of days, is this one, Sunday Origins. And there's so much truth in these few pages that it's going to change your religion. And look at this. Strong delusion. What do you see flying around there up in the moon? Christianity's institutionalized witchcraft. Pretty much everything that they show you is some kind of a rebellious behavior. We have to be really careful what we put into our brains. And I'm not trying to trick you, but I've got a lot of evidence over my lifetime that people don't realize how much witchcraft that they're actually practicing. I'd like to discuss this today with you to be sure to test everything that you hear over here on the videos. And people get new ideas all the time. They had a dream and they woke up and they said, hey, I met the J-Man and he told me something and I need to share that with you. Some of these things get millions of views and it's utter nonsense. Now the phrase, test everything, that's good advice. But where does it come from in Scripture? Well, show me in Scripture and prove it to me. You know, like Mark says on his Spark in You show, he says, if you can show it to me in Scripture, I can believe it. And if you can't, then why bother with it, you know? The phrase, test everything, originates from 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 21, which instructs believers to test all things that they're hearing and hold fast that which is good. This verse emphasizes the importance of discernment and critical evaluation for all Natsarim. That's right. I said Natsarim. The Natsarim are the followers of Yahusha. Christianity was born in Alexandria, Egypt. That's going to be something you need to test. Look up the term, the original term for Christians, Christianus, and you'll find that it tracks to our modern term, Cretan. And the term is used 3 times in Scripture, and it's always used in a place where terms of scorn are being used, in a list of terms of scorn. All right. We have to use 1 Thessalonians 5:21 to help remind us to examine ideas, beliefs, and practices against the perfect standard, the word of Yahuwah. What did he say about this? Now that's reminding us to examine ideas, beliefs, and practices. You know, blowing out candles on birthday cakes, putting pumpkins on your porch, and trick-or-treating and putting trees in your house on December 25th. Where does this come from? Can you show it to me in Scripture? Some of them I can. Baking cakes for the Queen of Heaven, and Jeremiah chapter 10 talks about dragging a tree out of the forest into your house and decorating it. And it's an abomination. And Deuteronomy 7 says, do not bring an accursed object into your house. Otherwise you, like it, will be accursed. That's not good. Now, these practices are against that perfect standard. The word, the inspired word of Yahuwah. And we're to embrace what is true and beneficial while rejecting what is false or harmful. Here's a picture of a concept that I just had to grab. It was actually a phrase that was written by Will Rogers at one time, and he had said, always drink upstream from the herd. Now stop and think about it. If you drink from a creek or a small river and you drink downstream from the herd, you're going to get some things in the water that you're going to be drinking that the herd left and it drifted down to you. If you drink upstream from the herd where it crossed, then you're going to be in good shape. And you have to take care of what you allow into your life. Beastly behavior is not good. Our mistakes are a path to success if we learn from them. The philosophies of men and their traditions are mostly what people practice. Colossians 2:8 says this, quote, see to it that no one makes a prey of you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the traditions of men, according to the elementary things of the world, and not according to Mashiach, unquote. People really want the book of Jubilees to be written by Musha or Moses or another real prophet, but it's like the rest of the Apocryphal books. They're written by sectarian groups. They're not inspired. They're not written by actual prophets. They're scholarly, but they always have something in them that attracts people, and it's always some nuance that's not possible. Some of it's, just the whims of the particular sect, like the Pharisees. The Pharisees wrote Jubilees, and it wasn't any earlier than 135 BCE. It was certainly written after the Babylonian captivity. But these sectarian groups, they're the ones that try to attract people to their sect and join them. Let me turn that phone off. Hold on. I'm back. Okay. Another observation is that the Aramaic script came with the returning captives from Babel. It wasn't in their possession before that. Yehuda was carried to Babel, and they weren't using the Aramaic script, but they learned the writing of the Babylonians. If you just read the first chapter of Daniel, you'll see that they were trained in the alphabet and the writings of the Babylonians, and that's Aramaic script. It came with the returning captives from Babel. They brought it back with them, this Aramaic script, and they call it modern Hebrew. And it became the commonly used script from that point on. Aramaic is Assyrian. Originally, they adopted it from after they abandoned the cuneiform. they adopted Aramaic script in Assyria. And then it was adopted by Babel 200 years later. That was in 800 BCE. And then the Yahudim adopted it when they were captive. They learned it for generations over the 70 years. And Daniel read the handwriting on the wall, at the end of the captivity period. And he was reading it in Hebrew, which is actually Iberith or Yehudith. It was actually a script that he was trained in as a child before he was taken captive and made into a eunuch. Daniel was reading Iberith, not Aramaic, on the wall. The hand that appeared was obviously the hand of the messenger of Yahuwah and was writing in the Hebrew script. The Babylonians couldn't read it. Daniel read this handwriting on the wall in authentic Iberith, not the Aramaic script. All the prophets wrote in Iberith, in Hebrew. See, the EBR is the name Eber. That's where you get Iberith, writings of Eber. It was his culture. Anyway, all the prophets wrote in Iberith, not Aramaic, and their writings were recopied into Aramaic. Let me get this.
Call from Rex Larry.
Okay, I'm back. This is making that video long, isn't it? So I just wanted to remind you that these things that happen over here with these videos, you have to be very careful and test everything. And I want to thank you for watching this. And I'm sorry about the interruptions. Anyway, have a wonderful night. And remember Dan Lachendro and his wife Gina. We're going to be missing him. Bye. The Ten Commandments are the correct path. You obey those because you're the bride. What has happened recently by our enemy at Las Lunas is proof of that. The enemy does not like the Hebrew script, nor does it like the stone that has the Ten Commandments etched on it. They attacked it twice at least. In 2008, they hammered out the first line, thinking, oh, this will do away with the name. No, it didn't. The name is still written in there several more times. And then there's what they did today. This is on the left. You see September 25th, 2023. That's what it looked like. And a Christian group went there, and they videoed the thing, and it became very popular, I guess. Someone came along, and they did their little black paint or oil. It looks like oil, is what it looks like. They defiled the stone with, but the letters are still showing up, aren't they? Well, what do you believe? Is that going to help you? You believe that Elohim is one. Even demons believe this. Show what you believe by your actions. Obey the Ten Commandments and be the bride. The Ruach HaKodesh is Yahushua HaMashiach in the form of a man, and is now the possessor of all authority in Shamayim and Eretz. That's the heavens and the earth. He's coming back for those obedient ones who are waiting for him. Go ahead. Show us what you believe.